Hello, my dear students, and welcome back. I know, exams are just around the corner and the tension is building up. But please, bilkul chinta mat karo, I am here for you. Today, we're going to tackle this beautiful chapter, Patterns of Creativity. And I promise you, we're going to make it so simple and fun, you'll remember it forever. Chalo, let's get started.
So, what's this whole chapter about? Well, think of it like a big, Zabardust debate match. In one corner, we have team science, with its logic, facts, and brainpower. And in the other corner, we have team poetry, with all its feelings, imagination, and matters of the heart. For ages, people have been fighting about who's better. But do they really have to be enemies? Let's find out. Okay, so round one. Ding, ding, ding! Stepping into the ring first, it's team poetry. And boy, they are not happy with science. They have some pretty serious complaints. Let's see what they have to say. Now, look at this powerful line from the poet William Wordsworth. What is he trying to say? It's actually very simple. He feels that science kills the beauty of things just to understand them. Imagine this. You see a beautiful, beautiful rose. A poet would look at it and write a lovely poem. But a scientist? They might pull it apart, petal by petal, to see how it's made. In the end, what are you left with? A pile of dead petals. The beauty is gone. That's why he uses such a strong word, murder.
And Wordsworth wasn't the only one feeling this way. The great poet John Keats totally agreed. He called science cold philosophy because he felt it stripped all the magic out of the world. The best example is a rainbow. When you and I see a rainbow, we feel so much wonder, right? It feels magical. But then a scientist comes along and says, oh, it's just light refracting through water droplets. Poof, the magic is gone. For Keats, this scientific explanation is like clipping an angel's wings. It just makes the world seem less wonderful.
All right, so we've heard from the poets. You'd expect the scientists to come back with a strong reply, wouldn't you? Well, here's the twist. The story of one of the greatest scientists of all time, Charles Darwin, actually seems to prove the poets right. It's a very sad story, actually. Let's take a look. Can you believe this? This is from Charles Darwin himself, the father of the theory of evolution. In his own book, he confessed that as he got deeper and deeper into science, he completely lost his love for art and poetry. He even said that reading Shakespeare was intolerably dull. Imagine! He felt his mind had become like a machine, just for grinding facts, with no room left for imagination or beauty. How sad is that? Darwin used a specific word for what happened to him. He said the part of his brain for enjoying art had atrophied. Now, what is this big word, atrophy? It's very simple, Beta. Think of it like a muscle. If you stop going to the gym, what happens to your muscles? They get weaker and smaller, right? That is atrophy. Darwin felt the art muscle in his brain just wasted away because he never, ever used it. So things are looking pretty bad. It seems science and poetry are just meant to be enemies forever. But wait, picture abhi baki hai mere dost. Just when all hope seems lost, our hero makes his entry, and his name is Percy Bysshe Shelley, the Peacemaker. You see, Shelley was completely different. While all the other poets were suspicious of science, Shelley was a huge fan, a total science geek. He loved reading science books and was so excited by all the new discoveries. For him, there was no fight, no verses. He saw science as a source of joy, a source of new ideas for his poems. That's why people call him the scientist's poet. And this poem is the perfect proof. Just look at it. The cloud is telling its own story. It says it's the daughter of earth and water, raised by the sky. It passes through oceans and shores. It changes, but it can never die. Now, what does that remind you of from your science class? Yes, the water cycle. Evaporation, condensation, rain, it's all there. Shelley took a scientific fact and turned it into something so beautiful. He showed that science and poetry can be the best of friends. Okay, everyone, listen up now. Pens down. This next part is very, very important for your exams. A question comparing these poets comes up almost every single year, so pay attention and I'll tell you exactly how to write a full marks answer.
So here's the classic question you might see on your exam paper. How was Shelley's attitude to science different from that of Wordsworth and Keats? Now let me show you the simplest way to answer this perfectly.
The best way to answer a compare question is with a table like this. On one side, you have Wordsworth and Keats. What did they believe? They thought science was cold, destructive, an enemy that murders to dissect beauty. Simple. Now, on the other side, our hero, Shelley. What did he think? He saw science as a source of joy and peace. He used scientific ideas to create beautiful poems. For him, they weren't enemies, they were powerful allies. Just remember these 3 points for each side, write them in your answer, and I guarantee your teacher will be very impressed.
So, we've heard the arguments, and Shelley has already made peace between the two sides. But wait, he has one final, powerful point to make. He's not just saying they can be friends. He's about to argue that poetry is something humanity absolutely cannot live without. Now, this looks like a complicated sentence, but the idea is simple. Shelley is giving us a warning. He's saying that if we only focus on science and technology, on controlling the world outside, and we forget about our poetical faculty, which is our imagination, our feelings, then we are in deep trouble. We might control nature or enslave the elements, but we ourselves will become slaves. Slaves to logic, slaves to machines, without any real happiness or freedom in our hearts.
So what is Shelley's big idea? It's this. Science can give us facts. It can give us power. It tells us how things work. But it's poetry that gives all those facts meaning. It connects knowledge to our hearts. It tells us why things matter. That's why he calls poetry the center and circumference of knowledge. It is the very heart of knowing, and it's also the big circle that holds everything together.
And this brings us to one of the most famous quotes ever. Poets are the unacknowledged legislators of the world. Now, a legislator is someone who makes laws, right? So is Shelley saying poets are politicians? No. He means poets are the secret lawmakers of humanity. They don't write rules for the government. They shape our imagination, our morals, our dreams. The ideas they give us guide our society in deep, unseen ways.
And the chapter leaves us with this brilliant question to think about. We have Shelley's passionate book, A Defense of Poetry, but has any great scientist ever written a defense of science? No, right? Why is that? Why doesn't science feel the need to justify itself, especially in today's world where everyone is talking about STEM? It's something for all of you to think about.
All right, chalo, let's do a super quick revision of the main takeaways. First and most important, science and poetry are not enemies. They're just two different sides of human creativity. Second, we saw that poets like Wordsworth and Keats were afraid science would destroy beauty. Third, Darwin's own sad story warned us that focusing only on science can make us lose our artistic side. And finally, our hero Shelley proved that when they work together, they can be powerful partners. Got it? Perfect.
And that's it. See, I told you it was simple. All the very, very best for your exams, my dear students. Study hard, but also remember to take breaks and let your imagination fly. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like and share it with your friends. And of course, subscribe for more simplified chapters. Let me know in the comments which chapter you want me to explain next. Take care and goodbye.